Okay, ready?
Nope.
Okay. This is Hashtag History episode 114. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Leah.
And this week, we are finally covering a topic that's been requested numerous times by our listeners.
Oh, really?
Yes. Our listeners know that we love all things controversy, conspiracy, and corruption.
Us? What?
It's shocking information, but it is our tagline.
Oh, okay.
So it's time that we live up to it.
Okay.
And this week's topic, it hits on all of those points.
Sweet.
Because this week we are discussing a decades-long mystery that was actually very possibly solved just earlier this year.
I'm so excited.
I'm so excited. After more than 70 years, the identification of the mysterious Somerton Man has maybe finally been discovered.
Ooh.
So who is/was the Somerton Man? On December 1st, 1948, the body of a man was discovered on the Somerton Park Beach in Adelaide, Australia.
Mm-hmm.
He was found wearing a suit with no obvious or visible cause of death and a slip of paper in his pocket, which read in Persian, Tamam Shud, or in English, it is finished. So who was the Somerton Man? Was he a spy, a scorned lover, someone who owed money to the wrong person, a ballet dancer, even?
Excuse me?
It's possible.
What?
We're going to dive into all of that this week, in addition to discussing the more recent developments in the case, which provide a very interesting identification of the mysterious Somerton Man. But first, let's have a cocktail.
Let's do it.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Leah.
And this is Hashtag History, the podcast for both history nerds and history haters alike,
where we dive into history's greatest stories of controversy, conspiracy, and corruption.
So this week's cocktail is sponsored once again by friends of the podcast, Jill and Alex.
Thank you, Jill and Alex.
Or Jiri and Eric's, as I like to call them.
That's awesome.
This week's cocktail is the Aussie Beachcomber, which
perfect.
fits our story today so perfectly on so many levels.
Exactly what
based
I was
on me Googling what the heck this topic is about, because I've never heard of it before.
Oh, I'm so excited for you to learn.
Yeah, so you got the Australian nod, you got the beach nod, and that's it.
Well, that's all we needed.
That's really all you need.
That's actually the whole story. So after the cocktail segment, we're done.
Oh,
yeah.
Short episode.
Really short.
Really short. So the Aussie Beachcomber, it contains 2 ounces of spiced rum, an ounce of I never know how to say this. Contreau liquor. Orange liqueur.
Okay, yeah, essentially.
1 ounce of orgeat syrup, or like an almond flavored syrup, a splash of agave syrup. So basically every kind of syrup.
Minus maple.
Right.
There's no maple,
right.
But everything else is in there.
And weird flavors working together here. Interesting. You also have half a lime juiced, 2 to 3 mint sprigs.
Or 12.
Or 12 in our case. And then you, garnish with a pineapple, which we forgot to do.
Didn't do. We are just remembering now as we're looking over this recipe again.
So cool. So you shake all the ingredients, including the mint, in a shaker with ice, pour into a chilled glass, and then you garnish with pineapple, or in our case, mint.
Or mint.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
And this recipe can be found on food.com.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
No. Good.
Interesting.
So sweet.
So sweet. All those syrups, man. Well, you did put extra syrup of every kind of syrup.
Of all of the syrups, I did add too much. I like it.
Love it. Very sweet. We also, there wasn't a lot of juice in the lime we juiced. Maybe if you put a little bit more lime or lemon or something in it, it might like cut that.
That's true. You guys know when you get a lime and it just doesn't want to be juiced.
Yeah, you just squeeze and squeeze and like 2 drops comes out.
I know. And that's why I know that I'm not supposed to. But I normally just use lime juice.
Yes.
That's already, it's in a container or whatever, because sometimes you get a lime that does not want to be squeezed.
Yeah. You squeeze it in the store and it feels juicy.
Yeah.
And then you take it home, you cut it open and you get 2 drops out of that baby.
1.5 really.
Right. Yeah.
What would you rate this?
8.5.
I'm going to go exactly 8.5 too.
Nice.
Yeah, I really like it. It's super sweet. It's really different.
We're on a roll.
Mm-hmm.
Good drinks.
Agreed. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yum.
Thank you, Jill and Alex.
Thank you to Jill and Alex. Thank you so much for all your support of the podcast. It means a lot. Okay, so before we dive into the story, I wanted to give a bit of a shout out both to you, Leah, wonderful co-host,
Okay.
and to the entire continent of Australia. not to be compared with one another.
I'm in good company.
Definitely. So as I was putting together the research for this episode, much of it was very reminiscent of the episode that you did about Operation Mincemeat.
Okay.
As we dive further into the episode, we're going to be exploring the contents of this Somerton Man's pockets in hopes that they help us to identify him. And that kept making me think of our Operation Mincemeat episode.
Nice.
Which is one of our most popular episodes ever.
Go check it out.
Go check it out. Both thanks to you and your excellent, fascinating, entertaining research. But also because that is the story that ABC Brisbane asked us to share when they graciously invited us onto their radio show.
I was going to mention that, I wonder if our Australian listeners that we got after that episode, if they're going to like this.
That I hope that they do. It's because of us being featured on that morning radio show that we gained a ton of Australian listeners. So I'm super excited to bring this episode to all of our Australian listeners because not only is it super reminiscent of Operation Mincemeat, which is the first episode that many of our Australian listeners ever heard of the Hashtag History podcast.
Yeah.
But also because the story is actually set in Australia.
Wow.
I think you're going to like it.
I think I am too.
It's really reminiscent of Operation Mincemeat.
I already
You'll
really
see.
like it because you're complimenting me.
Well,
so.
yeah, I mean, that helps. And the drink is great. That helps too.
Yeah, that helps too. A lot.
So where does this mystery begin? We could actually say that it began on November 30th, the evening before the body was discovered. So let's set the scene. It's November at the beautiful Somerton Beach in Adelaide, South Australia, which my initial thought as a California girl is, no thank you, about the beach in November. Am I wrong?
I mean, there's two different types of beaches, right? Beach trips. There's sweatshirt, leggings, hat, like beanie beach trips, drinking hot cocoa. And then there's California summer beach trips, which is like bathing suit, towel.
The first option sounds miserable to
Sounds
me.
great. What are you talking about?
It's miserable with like the winds. You can't see the sun at all.
No wind.
You can
Wind is not acceptable.
You can barely dip your toes into the water.
Well, yeah, no. We live on the Pacific coast.
That's
we
what
can't
I'm
dip
saying.
our toes in the water.
Okay,
what are you
so
talking about?
But during the summer, you can like allow it to get to mid shin.
Sure. And then you walk out numb, even though it's July.
100%. 100%. I mean, our beaches here, like our water in November is like 55 degrees Fahrenheit in November, and it's absolutely miserable.
Yeah.
As I previously mentioned.
Yes.
But in Adelaide in November, it looks like the average temperature is a gorgeous 75 degrees.
Lovely.
So sign me up for that.
Yeah.
And of course, I have now fully acknowledged my naivete when it comes to the difference between California beaches and Australia beaches. But even with my lack of knowledge in that particular regard, I have still been to the beach hundreds of times. Hashtag California privilege.
Right.
And I'm aware of what normal beach attire is, right? I mean, even if we go to your scenarios, there's two types of beach attire. There's bathing suit or there's like sweater, leggings,
Sweatpants.
beanie.
Yeah.
Okay. What I mean by all of this is that wearing a full suit and dress shoes on the beach is not exactly normal.
Unless you're getting married.
Oh, you're right. I have been on the... Now that you said that, I attended a wedding that was on the beach.
I've seen many a wedding on the beach.
You're absolutely right. And I was surrounded by people in suits.
In suits on the
Okay.
beach.
Well, I now take back everything I just said. That's a great point. Oh, yeah. People do get married on beaches.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, this is not for a wedding that we know of. So it feels a little unusual.
Maybe you brought something new to the plate here
Okay. Okay.
for the investigation.
All right. That's one of the first things that stood out
Right.
to beachgoers on the evening of November 30th, 1948. And I would just say if you were at the beach and there was one person wearing a suit, like if there's like a collection of people in suits, it might infer that there is a ceremony occurring.
Right.
If there's one person, you're like, is he here to think about his life.
Yeah, what's he contemplating while he's over there?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
It stands out a little
Yes.
bit. And so this did stand out to some people. They said that they spotted a man dressed in a suit at the Somerton Beach, November 30th, 1948.
Okay.
Some say that they saw him leaned up against a concrete wall at the beach with his legs like out in front of him and crossed at the ankles.
He's sitting in the sand in his suit.
Weird.
His swoot.
His swoot. Yeah, it's weird. Others say that they spotted him lying on the ground, not moving.
Dead.
I didn't say that.
So they saw a dead guy.
I didn't say that yet.
So they saw a dead guy on the beach.
You ruined my story. You literally ruined my story. So, yes. I mean, this goes to exactly what you just said. He is laying there so motionless that he wasn't even moving to shoo away mosquitoes that were swarming around. Okay. However, hold on. There is some movement. The only movement that witnesses noticed him make was raising one arm up into the air at one point
Okay.
and then just letting it fall down limply at his side.
I mean, we've all done this.
It's just like laying in bed for no reason.
With your arm just...
For no reason. And you just let it just balance there while you're laying down for a long time.
Why do we do this?
I don't know, but it's comfy, no?
It's comfortable.
And then at the end, limply down to the ground every time.
So basically this guy was dying, if not dead.
There is the possibility that he could have been drunk.
Oh.
Maybe a really hard day at the office. That's why he's wearing his suit. One too many shots at happy hour. Wobbled down to the beach and is like, let me look at my hand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's possible.
Yes.
Okay. I just want you to consider all possibilities here.
Right. Not dead.
I mean, keep that in your mind a little bit.
Okay.
But it's not the only possibility.
Okay.
But like mostly. Okay. Anyway, most that observed him thought him either drunk or asleep.
Okay.
I guess at one point, someone even peered over at him from some stairs that led down to the beach. But by all accounts, no one was particularly alarmed by the man's behavior, and he was not investigated any further that night. But by the following morning, witnesses discovered that the worst had happened. A pair of amateur jockeys rode by on horseback the following morning, and upon discovering... That's a thing. That's a thing.
Jockeys?
Yeah, it's a thing. And they are the ones that discovered the body of a dead man along the beach. So they called authorities.
Suit?
He was wearing a suit.
Was his arm in the air?
Not at this point. What witnesses didn't realize they were witnessing the night before was not a man sleeping or drunkenly resting. No, what they were witnessing was a man dying. All right, so we're going to look at a picture of the Somerton Man, and I realize that that's a little bit morbid and disturbing. So before we post the picture on our Instagram, as we always post any pictures that we mention in our episode, I will be sure to place a warning on the picture should you not wish to see it. But let's go ahead and check it out here, and you can kind of describe what you see, Leah. Like I said, morbid. But generally, what do you see here?
White guy.
Mm-hmm.
Tie.
Mm-hmm. That's fine.
That's it.
That's fine. What I see when I look at this picture, besides the fact that he's dead, is a pretty well put together guy. Like, he's clean shaven. His hair looks pretty well kept. He's wearing a suit. And that's what authorities found too.
Yeah.
They found him dressed in a white shirt, tie, sweater, brown pants, and jacket with socks and recently polished shoes.
All right. So he's dressing to the nines, as they say, right? Is that a thing?
Dressed to the nines. They searched his clothing and found that all of the labels had been removed. Really, the only thing they found interesting about his attire was the fact that one of his pants pockets had been repaired with some orange thread. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Okay.
They searched in his pockets for some form of identification and found none. Instead, they found in his pockets a railway ticket to Henley Park, a bus ticket to North Glenelg, and other miscellaneous items such as cigarettes, matches, gum, a comb, and a folded up piece of paper.
Sorry, not from Australia. Is Henley Beach like somewhere nearby?
It's not far from here.
Okay, and again, I just want to know, like, are these things out of the norm?
No, I would say from what I read, none of this is out of the norm.
Okay.
I mean, for a guy to have a ticket, a railway ticket to a relatively close by beach.
Okay.
Cigarettes, matches, whatever. None of this is striking them as odd, with the exception of there's no labels on his clothing. That's a little weird.
Yeah.
The orange thread on the pants, that doesn't sound like too odd, but we'll get to why it is a little interesting.
Okay.
And the fact that there's no identification on this guy. Kind of weird.
Yeah.
In addition to this dude in a suit with well-polished shoes, clean-shaven, hair well-kept, dead on a beach.
Yes.
With no explanation or visible signs of why and how he died.
Mm-hmm.
When a pathologist examined his body, he found the man to be in his 40s or 50s and in, quote, top physical condition, unquote, with, quote, gray eyes, fair to ginger-colored hair.
Gray eyes.
Slightly gray around the temples, with broad shoulders and a narrow waist, hands and nails that showed no sign of manual labor, big and little toes that met in a wedge shape like those of a dancer or someone who wore boots with pointed toes, and pronounced high calf muscles consistent with people who regularly wore boots or shoes with high heels or performed ballet, unquote, which is also something that I used to have.
Yeah. Remember the days when we used to have nice calves? Our calf, there was a time.
Oh, I was so proud of them.
Yeah. My calves were so large from dance that boots didn't fit me.
Yeah.
Or, like, I struggled to find boots that fit me.
Yeah. I remember those days too.
No
and that there
longer
was
the
a
case.
defined line
Yeah.
where my calf muscle was.
Yeah.
I do miss that a lot. I mean, that's truly only my fault and no one else's. But I too used to look like the Somerton Man.
Yeah. Yeah. With the pointed, the toes that point
the
towards
messed
each
up
other.
toes
Yeah.
and the defined calf muscles. I mean, are they describing me?
What?
Like pre-pandemic me? They determined his time of death to be roughly 2 a.m. As to the cause of death, investigators weren't sure. They did note that his pupils were super small and that there was blood in his stomach.
Sounds like poison.
I'm glad you said that.
Poison.
They also found a lot of congestion in his pharynx, stomach, and kidneys. This led the pathologist to believe that his death, quote, could not have been natural, unquote, and that his belief was that the mystery man had died by
Poison.
poison. Although they could not determine what kind or where it had come from. You know those like invisible poisons?
Yeah.
If he was poisoned, that's what they think it was.
Hi, I'm Natalie,
And I'm Cass,
and we're the hosts of Shared History.
a comedic history podcast exploring the stories of the often overlooked or underrepresented.
The people and events your history books may have glossed over, whitewashed, man-washed, or left out completely.
From the Mayan creation myth to the Deaf President Now movement of the 1980s.
From ancient scientist Avicenna to first female principal chief of the Cherokee Nation, Wilma Mankiller.
If you saw it in a footnote once,
Or have never heard of it,
we're here to share it with you.
join us in a rotating guest list featuring scholars, writers, teachers, entertainers, entrepreneurs, subject matter experts, and more.
Tune in to Shared History on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, you know the drill.
And follow us at Shared Pod on Instagram and Twitter.
And as always,
Share you later.
They fingerprinted him and took dental records, but still they could not determine the identity of the mysterious Somerton Man. And thus, on December 10th, they embalmed the body. And that was that. Until January 14th of the following year. On that day, staff members that worked at the Adelaide railway station found a mysterious brown suitcase that had been checked into a closet at the station sometime after 11 a.m. on November 30th, 1948, the same day that eyewitnesses first spotted the mysterious man on the Somerton Beach. When investigators examined the suitcase, they found that even the label of the suitcase had been removed. There were, however, labels found inside the suitcase that investigators believe had been removed from the clothing. These labels all read T. Keen on them. Initially, investigators kind of overlooked this piece. This was late 1940s. People are still recovering from the Second World War. One of the major areas in which people were still recovering was in having the money and the rationing for clothing. Therefore, a lot of people at this time purchased secondhand clothing and often wore the clothing. How many times have I said clothing in this sentence?
Yeah, a lot.
Wore the clothing of people that did not originally belong to them.
Right. Thrifting. Love it.
Love thrifting.
Love a thrifting queen and
Yes.
king.
Yes.
Did people always write their names in their clothing? Was that like a normal thing?
I wonder if that's part of the, like a lot of these men served at this time period had served in the war. And I know in the military, it's very common to label your personal items.
Yeah, I guess the only thing that I can ever remember labeling is the jacket I got when I used to work at the well at Sac State.
Because everyone else had the
Because we
same
all
one.
had the same jacket.
Yeah.
And so I didn't want to, but now I also wear Nikos, which they're interchangeable, really.
I'm actually trying to think, have I ever labeled my clothing before?
T-shirts that everybody has the same t-shirt.
Yeah, like camp t-shirts.
Camp t-shirts.
For sure.
Yeah, that's why your clothing is all interchangeable, right?
100%.
You're like, is this Courtney's or mine? Don't know.
Don't know. It
doesn't matter.
100%. So, like you were saying, thrifting, secondhand clothing, that's a really big thing right now. Additionally, investigators had already done a worldwide search and discovered that there were no missing T. Keens in any English-speaking country at the time.
English speaking. That guy didn't necessarily look like he spoke English.
You don't think so?
I don't know. I don't know.
But yeah, I think that's interesting that they specifically looked in only English-speaking countries. There was something that the pathologist, when he was examining his body, he said he looked of British descent, is what he believed.
What does that mean?
Without hearing how they say holiday, how do you know?
He could be Russian. He could be like Eastern European.
100%.
I don't.
I totally agree with you, but also not a pathologist.
True.
I don't know. I'm just telling you the facts. All right. They also found in the suitcase some other clothing, slippers, underwear, pajamas, and some shaving tool kits, a screwdriver, a knife, scissors, and a stenciling brush.
Okay.
And finally, they discovered in the suitcase that mysterious orange thread that had been used to repair the pocket of the pants that the man had been found in. The more investigators looked into this thread, the more mysterious it became. They found that this thread was not available anywhere in Australia. The only definitive clue that they really gathered from the suitcase was that the coat inside of it was for sure from the United States, but not imported from the United States, meaning that he had either been to the United States or that he had bought it there.
Okay.
Or that he had gotten it secondhand from someone that had bought it while in the U.S. Okay, so let's go back to the artifacts found on his body. You'll remember mentioning a slip of paper that they had found on him. We're going to check out that slip of paper now.
Oh, yeah. And you mentioned Tamam Shud.
Yes.
And not English.
Not English, it's Persian. And these words are some...
Is this the actual photo?
Yes.
It's just very well written.
Yes.
Looks like calligraphy, really.
I'm glad you said that. We're going to definitely touch on that. So the words on this piece of paper are Tamam Shud, which is a variation in Persian of the words "it is finished." Now, from this picture, like you already said, it's not handwritten. So it looks like it could be like calligraphy.
Yeah.
It's not. It's too perfect.
Yeah, it looked very, very nice.
Yeah, it is actually typed.
Okay.
Perhaps from a book.
Okay.
And it also looks, if you look at it again, kind of torn around the edges.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was found that this line was on the last page of a poetry book titled Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. In an attempt to find the exact book that this piece of paper had been ripped out of, authorities distributed a photograph of the slip of paper, the picture that we just saw, in the media countrywide. And believe it or not, but a man actually did respond to the ad and produced for authorities a 1941 edition of the book with that exact line torn from it.
What? Where did he come from?
It's weird, the story as to how he came in possession of this book. It's super funky, but essentially what he says is that he and his brother-in-law were at the Somerton Beach in December, the year prior.
Yeah.
When they returned to their car, they both noticed a copy of the Rubaiyat on the floor of the back seat of the car, but both assumed that it was the others. They just didn't touch it.
Yeah.
They gave it no further thought until they saw the ad in the paper and then brought the book forth to police when they discovered that the Tamam Shud had been torn from it.
Can we just take a little side?
Please.
People leaving shit in my car or leaving trash in my car or something like that is a huge pet peeve of mine. So I'm just imagining being one of these, what did you say they were brothers?
Yeah, brother-in-laws. Yeah.
Brother-in-laws being like, Joel left
100%.
book
Actually,
in the back of my car, and it's been there for 3 weeks now.
And also, it's always that feeling of what do I do with it? Do I mention to him that he left it there? Do I keep it for a certain period of time and then toss it?
Yeah.
Do I add it to my own personal library at home? I feel you.
Yeah.
I once had someone leave a beach towel in my car for so long that it's now one of my beach towels.
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry
umbrella,
to that person.
Umbrella.
And it's now in your umbrella
it's
cycle.
My umbrella.
Yeah. If it stays for that long, essentially it's yours. Authorities found all kinds of juicy clues inside this book.
Ooh.
For one, they found 2 phone numbers in it. The first number they tried went nowhere. But the second number went to a woman named Jessica Ellen Jo Thompson.
Okay.
Thompson lived on Mosley Street, Glenelg, which was only like a quarter mile from Somerton Beach. When investigators got in touch with Thompson, she was reluctant to speak, even asking investigators to use a pseudonym because she wasn't comfortable with her name being linked to the case. This has since changed. She later gave permission. That's why I'm using her name. Not to fear. She said she did not know who the unidentified man was, but when shown a plaster cast of him, those on site said she was, quote, completely taken aback to the point of giving the appearance that she was about to faint. Unquote. And that after having looked at the cast once, she would not look at it again.
I mean, I'm imagining a plaster cast is probably kind of scary.
Yeah.
Like, Michael Myers.
I've seen it. And it is a little weird, eerie looking. And that's exactly what I was going to say. Are we just projecting on the past? Because if I saw a bust of someone I didn't know,
creepy.
even if it was someone I did know, but if it's someone I didn't know, I might not look at it more than once myself.
Yeah.
But either way, even her daughter said in an interview in 2014 that she believed that her mom knew who the Somerton Man was. The best Thompson could give investigators was that she had once owned a copy of Rubaiyat, but she had given it to an Australian Army lieutenant named Alf Boxall when she was serving as a nurse in Sydney during the Second World War.
Okay.
Initially, this felt like a pretty good clue. Perhaps Boxall was the Somerton Man.
Yes.
But investigators soon learned that Boxall was still alive and well in Sydney and was still in possession of Thompson's copy of the book, the line Tamam Shud, still intact.
Okay.
They were able to further confirm that the book he had in his possession was indeed once Thompson's because they found her handwriting and her signature in the front, along with a verse that she'd written.
Okay.
There were other clues discovered in the book. In the back, there were 5 lines of capital letters. Let's check them out, and I will have you read what they say to our listening audience. So obviously I'm joking about reading it.
Yeah. I was like, it's just a string of random letters.
Exactly. It's totally
Which
unintelligible.
Code.
Interesting you say that. It was eventually determined that this was some kind of code as opposed to being like a different non-English language. Investigators brought in some of the top code breakers and cryptographers, but no one could figure it out. One detective did state that he thought that last line, the letters are IITMTSAMSTGAB, could be an acronym for It's Time to Move to South Australia, Mosley Street, which, if you will recall, was the street that Jessica Thompson lived on.
I feel like that's very... Those letters could be anything.
Completely
Why do we
agree.
think that that's what it is?
I completely agree with that. I can like sort of kind of see it, but mostly I can't see it.
Yeah, that seems very random to me.
Yes. I mean, that's really anyone's best guess. Still to this day, the code has never been deciphered. Okay, now that we've built up the story and the mystery,
I love it.
let's discuss the various theories about the identity of this elusive man.
Yes.
One of the first theories, of course, was that he had some sort of connection with Jessica Thompson that she simply would not reveal.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Perhaps...
Lover. Oh.
Yeah. I mean, the first theory was that they were Soviet spies together.
Oh.
Lover comes next.
Okay.
Thompson's daughter alleges that before her mother passed away, her mother admitted that she had lied to the cops when she said that she did not know the identity of the mystery man and that his identity was known, quote, to a level higher than the police force, unquote. There's also suspicion that one of Thompson's children, her son, Robin, who allegedly had a striking resemblance to the Somerton Man, may have been his child. The Thompson family did request that the body be exhumed so they could conduct DNA testing to see if there was a relation, and after this DNA analysis was conducted, it was proven that there was no relation after all.
Okay.
So, I mean, you can look at a picture, but
it's fine.
Scientifically proven, he's not related.
She literally pushed up her glasses as she said it.
But actually, that was because my glasses were falling. Continuing more broadly with the theory that the Somerton Man was a spy, I can see why this theory took wind between the fact that his death is indiscernible. Mm-hmm. Was he killed with some kind of invisible poison?
Yeah.
The fact that no one ever identified him and that weird code stuff in his book.
Totally.
There was one theory that held some weight a handful of years back. In 2011, a woman who lived in Adelaide found a World War I foreign seaman identification card in her father's belongings. When she brought the ID card to anthropologists to compare it to that of the Somerton Man, they found some striking similarities. Not only did things like the shape and size of the ears, nose, lips, and eyes look similar, but even more compelling was a mole on the cheek of both men in the exact same location. Now, unfortunately, inconsistent record keeping did not allow for any additional information into the mysterious identification card, although more recent researchers believe they have been able to trace the card to a Tasmanian man that died just a few years after the Somerton Man was discovered. So, moving on.
Yeah.
Over time, nearly 30 people would come forward with claims that they knew the true identity of the mystery man. But after digging further into each of these theories, investigators were able to disprove every one.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the point where if you have listened to any podcasts or watched documentaries or read books about this case that were made any time before summer of this year, of 2022, this is kind of where the story ends. For the past 70 plus years, this has all just been one big, fascinating mystery that some people have quite literally dedicated their lives to solving. Mm-hmm. However, I'm happy to share that we have some more recent, exciting updates.
You heard it here first, people.
Unless you read the news. Anytime, if you've read the news in the last 6 months, it might not be the first time. But we're definitely for sure the first podcast to cover these updates.
That's probably not true.
It's definitely not true. 100% not true, but let's pretend like it was. Okay. Derek Abbott, a professor at the University of Adelaide, has dedicated more than a decade to solving this mystery. He's used a number of different means to determine the identity. One such way was meeting with the Thompson family to hear more of their stories. And I just have to mention this because it's such a crazy side note. Abbott would end up marrying Rachel Egan, the daughter of Robin Thompson, whom the family believed was the son of the Somerton Man. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, that's so random. Just through his research and through meeting them, they fell in love.
They clicked. Yeah.
Abbott and Egan, they even keep a portrait of the Somerton Man hanging in their home as if he is family.
It's a little weird.
Although, as you'll recall, DNA testing confirmed that this was not the case.
Yeah, that's a little weird.
It's interesting. Anyway, in 2017, Abbott announced that of the many hairs that had been on the plaster cast made of the Somerton Man many ages before, 3 of them were good enough for DNA testing. Via analysis of these hairs, they determined that the Somerton Man belonged to a DNA group possessed by only 1% of Europeans. Mm-hmm. Further, they uploaded this information into GEDmatch, a genealogical research database. Mm-hmm. And from there, they were able to put together a family tree that officially determined the identity of this 70-plus year mystery. Are you ready for the big reveal?
So excited. Oh my God.
Abbott believes that the Somerton Man was an electrical engineer named Carl Charles Webb, born in Melbourne on November 16th, 1905. Mm-hmm. He was able to definitively say that Webb was one of 6 children belonging to Richard August Webb and Eliza Amelia Morris Grace. Which, is that the most gorgeous name you've ever heard in your life?
Beautiful. Stunning.
Stunning.
How stunning.
He's not able to 100% say which of the 6 children the Somerton Man is, but feels pretty confident in saying that it's Carl because Carl is the only sibling, quote, with no documented death, unquote.
Okay.
Through public records, we know that he married a woman named Dorothy Jean Robertson in October of 1941, and that in April of 1947, he left her. There are records in a newspaper from October of 1951, so 3 years after the Somerton Man was discovered, indicating that his wife was filing for divorce from Webb, quote, on the grounds of desertion, unquote.
Well, yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, I'd say so. I'd say he deserted.
Yeah.
She would later move roughly 100 miles from Adelaide. Abbott says of that, quote, it's possible that Webb came to this state to try and find her. This is just us drawing the dots. We can't say for certain that this is the reason he came, but it seems logical, unquote. I don't know.
Yeah.
Upon further research into Webb's life, Abbott learned that he loved reading and writing poetry, hence the poetry book that is believed to have belonged to him. Additionally, Abbott discovered that Webb loved to bet on horses and believes that perhaps the code found in the book actually corresponds with the names of horses. Finally, it was discovered that Webb's brother-in-law was a man named Thomas Keene, which makes sense as to why there were labels found in that mysterious suitcase that read T. Keene on them.
All right.
Mic drop.
Mic drop. That's it.
There are no known pictures of Webb, but we do have a picture of his brother Roy from when he was a prisoner of war during World War II. We can compare the picture of Roy against a more recent forensic photo created to resemble what they believe the Somerton Man would have looked like. I will say, just from my personal opinion, I don't think they look a ton alike, but I also don't look anything like my sisters. So that's the brother in a World War II prisoner of war photo.
Yeah.
And then there's another picture just above that. This is kind of like a recreation based on that like death photo that we have at the Somerton Man. This is what they believed he looked like in life.
Cute.
Yeah, I know. He looks really nice.
Nice.
He looks really nice. He looks really friendly and nice looking.
Yeah. I don't know that he looks all that much like Roy, but like you said, like I look nothing like my brother. Nothing.
Agreed.
Nothing.
Agreed. Actually, yeah, now that you mention that, you guys look nothing alike.
Like you would be shocked to know we're related.
Definitely.
If you compare both of us to our parents, then you're like, yeah, I see how you got your
I see
parents.
the through line.
Right, but next to each other?
Definitely not. But yeah, no, you have a good point. You look nothing like your brother at all. I putting them next to each other and comparing them to see if that holds weight, I don't know. But all the rest of this holds a lot of weight to me.
Mm-hmm.
This still doesn't explain the Somerton Man's mysterious death and how and why he wound up dying alone on a beach in Adelaide.
Mm-hmm.
This is something that Abbott and other researchers are continuing to investigate. Additionally, authorities have not publicly stated yet that they agree with Abbott's conclusions, as they are continuing to conduct research of their own. They did state, however, that they are, quote, cautiously optimistic that this may provide a breakthrough,
right.
unquote.
Sounds very politician-y.
Yeah, exactly. It sounds like the perfect political response. I want to close out this episode with a quote from filmmaker Carolyn Billsborough, because I think this quote helps to remove the mystique of the Somerton Man and to paint him more humbly, more humanely, more as I think he really was. Mm-hmm. She said, quote, "We had all these grandiose ideas about him being Russian, American, and European. I was convinced that he was from Europe, maybe a displaced person after the Second World War who was here alone. But to find that he's Australian, from Victoria, and that he died, and no one obviously noticed he was missing, or no one followed up with the police that he was missing, I find that particularly kind of tragic."
I was
unquote.
Literally I was going to say that before you read that quote. It's kind of sad.
It is.
If he's like, he has 5 siblings, you said?
Yeah. It is sad.
A wife
he was
or
married.
An estranged wife. Mm-hmm. Like, that's sad.
It is sad because, I mean, that's part of what has played into this mystery this whole time is he certainly must be a spy or someone.
No one claimed him.
Because no one claimed him. Someone that the government didn't want anyone to know about. But no, he was just a humble, average Joe that no one reported him missing.
Yeah.
And he died alone on a beach one day in 1948 with witnesses around not realizing.
Holding his arm in the air.
Holding his arm in the air.
As we all do.
But hopefully not while dying.
Hopefully not while dying.
Hopefully not. Thank you all so much for listening to this episode of Hashtag History.
We will share the pictures that we discussed on the episode to our Instagram, and all sources used to put together this episode can be found on our website at hashtaghistory-pod.com.
Subscribe to us on whatever podcast platform you use, share about us with your family and friends, and then give us a rate and review.
And be sure to check us out on our socials. We are on Instagram at hashtaghistory_podcast, and we are also on TikTok. So check us out on there. We're posting new things.
Yes.
At hashtaghistory, all one word.
And come join us over on Patreon, where for only $1 a month, you can help support our books and booze supply. You also get access to some behind-the-scenes content, weekly Hashtag Hangout episodes, an automatic 15% off all merchandise, and we mail you cards and stickers.
We sure do.
We sure do. Thanks.
Thanks.
Bye.
That was off.
It was horrible.
It was really bad.
Should we do it again?
No, it's fine. All right. Oh, shit. Yeah. Okay. No, we're good. We're good.
Okay, ready?
Nope.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
I don't know. My research is bad. Pharynx? Pharynx?
Pharynx.
That's how you say that, right?
Yes.
Nice. Pharynx, stomach.
This is going to suck to edit.
It's going to be horrible.
I'm going to hate it.
It's going to be horrible. Remember how we said no f***ing bullshitting today? Rubaiyat. Oh. I'm going to have to cut out all of those like hesitations. In an attempt to find the exact...
You're going to have to cut out.
You're going to have to cut out all of these hesitations. Mosley Street, Glenelg. Yep, Glenelg. Move to South Africa, Mosley Street.
Australia.
It's time to move to Australia.
South Australia.
It's time. Africa, what the f? Not even, did I say South Africa?
You did say
Maybe
South
that's
Africa.
why I just said South and
Africa,
immediately I thought of Africa.
Yeah.
So I'm like, where would that come from?